This video is based on IGCSE Cambridge Business Studies and is from the paper 1, and it relates to theories of motivation. So let's have a look at the question and let's carry out IDF to fully understand the question. So the instruction is to identify and then explain. It's directing you towards Bushel, so we know the question is about that specific company, and to get the information on Bushel you'd have to read the insert above. And the focus is based on Taylor's motivational theory. Okay, so no others, just Taylor's. So when looking at the case study, the first bits of information that I can see which relates to the question is, first of all, Bushels is a farm, and they grow fruits such as pineapples and bananas. Now, when looking at Taylor believed that workers were lazy, they were not always to be trusted, they had to be motivated simply by financial incentives. The most common one was piece rate, and piece rate, just a reminder, is payment based on how much you produce. Now, if you think about a farm, and we know they're producing fruits such as pineapples and bananas, but you also have to remember that these type of fruits, they take a while to actually to grow. It won't be as simple as just being able to pick them, because the whole process is quite time consuming. So that would go against the idea of piece rate straight away. Other factors within the case study is, first of all, the team of employees enjoy what they do. The fact that they enjoy what they do suggests that they might be more enticed or more motivated by non-financial incentives. And the fact is that they're an award-winning farm, which suggests that the business is doing well anyway. So by introducing Taylor's theory, it might not necessarily work for this specific group of employees because their attitudes are different to the ones that Taylor describes. So just to give you a little bit more information on Taylor's theory, this is a quote that comes directly from Taylor. We do not want any initiative. All we want is them to obey the orders we give them, do what we say, and do it quick. So it sounds like a very autocratic style of leadership. They have to obey the orders. They don't provide an input. They just do what they are told. Straight away, again, it depends on the attitudes of the workers, but this would only really motivate certain workers. Maybe those Theory X workers, those workers that see it as a 9-to-5 job, don't want the responsibility, and just are simply there for an income. But that it doesn't sound like the description of the workers at Bushel. The fact that they're award winning, they enjoy what they do, it kind of goes against this point. Now, Taylor, he really believed in financial rewards rather than non-financial. He thought if you set financial rewards based on targets, reward those who meet the targets, and obviously that sounds like piece rate, and that would be the most productive way, or the biggest motivational way to increase productivity. So he believed that managers should maintain close control and supervision over their employees, again relating to that lack of trust. As I've already said before, it's an autocratic style of management, and motivating workers using piece rates was one of the key factors. Now, there are companies that use this technique. There are companies that you'd argue do follow a Taylor philosophy, and if you think about Amazon. So e-commerce giant Amazon has been heavily criticised for its piece rate approach to rewarding and managing employees in its warehouses. So Amazon boss Jeff Bezos defends company's workforce culture. Amazon devastating expose accuses internet retail of oppressive and callous attitudes to staff. Now I know from reading other articles, they expected their workers to pick a certain amount every single day, and this was calculated, this was monitored, and if they didn't, then they would have they would be penalised for it. So if we look back at the question now, and we'll carry out a model answer based on the points that we've already mentioned. So my first point I'm going to look at is employees at Bushel already enjoy their jobs and appear motivated. So that's my main point. Now I just need to provide reasoning and develop it. So my reasoning and my development, I've put, as the case study suggests, the employees are already motivated without financial incentives, which suggests workers are more interested in non-financial. As they're award winning, it also suggests that their motivational techniques are already working. By adopting Taylor, this might ruin the workforce culture, and employees may not react well to the autocratic style leadership. So that's my first point with explanation. Now I need to make sure my second reason is not similar to the first. I can't be looking at non-financial incentives. I can't be looking at that they already enjoy the job. I need to find a different point to make sure that I maximise my marks. Again, many of my students, their reasoning is often too similar, and actually sometimes it could be argued that the second reason is just a follow-on or a development strand from reason one, and therefore it limits their grades. Oh, sorry, their marks on the question. So my second point is due to the time process of growing the fruits, piece rate couldn't be used throughout. So I just need to explain why and provide an explanation with development. But this type of work, it doesn't just relate to just picking the fruits. There are lots of other tasks which need to be completed to lead up to this. Bushel have managed to motivate their employees throughout this process, whilst Taylor would find it hard to motivate in the early stages leading up to the harvest. Again, this whole answer is contextual. This whole answer is an application because it really thinks about the type of industry and the type of company Bushel is and the type of work that the employees will carry out. Again, just by putting information such as growing the fruit could be time consuming. By talking about the harvest, that's just making it clear the application. It's also providing reasoning. You can't read this answer and ask the question why or how. It's a complete chain of argument.